Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Bush Puppy Farm. I'm Heather Morano. I am a gardener and flower farmer in Zone 9B in Northern California, about 20 miles outside of San Francisco. And I'm really glad you're here. So we had a storm on Saturday that was very unusual for this time of year. We got over an inch of rain in the Bay Area, and in some places in the Bay Area, 2 inches of rain. The normal rainfall for the entire month of May is for our area is around 0.7 inches of rain, and we got way more than that, twice that, in a single day. Totally crazy. The Sierra Nevadas got over 2 feet of snow, so it's great for our weather outlook, our water outlook. The additional snowpack means more water availability for the land, for people, for agriculture, and importantly, it means a later start to our fire season. So that's very exciting, especially considering we're supposedly heading into now a La Nina pattern, which generally means drier in the west, drier and hotter in the west, and crazier storms in the east. So I'm a little worried about my family in Florida for hurricane season this year. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got to check on everything. Did not come out during the storm, but we had high winds, and so I'm hoping that the Bio360 stayed down. I do have brand new landscape staples that arrived. I had to order more because I've used everything I have between here and home. So I want to finish tacking down all of the Bio360, add it where it's needed, and then finish transplanting all of those new seedlings. Then for the rest of this week, other than coming out to harvest tomorrow, most of this week I'll be spending at home. On Thursday, I have a local garden club coming to my house to do a garden tour, mostly of the front garden, which is in pretty decent shape, but they also want to see the back garden and the greenhouse and all that stuff. So I have a lot of cleanup to do. A lot of cleanup that I usually have done at this point, but haven't had a chance. And so normally I'd be all set to go back in early April, and now it's early May and I still haven't finished all the garden cleanup. So a lot to do this week at home. So let's go check on everything, make sure everything survived. I know one thing's for sure, it was just a steady, hard rain for like 6 hours, which was really crazy. I thought it would be intermittent showers, but that really helps because since I've been having some issues with the irrigation, I need to replace the mainline tubing up at the top of the up by the goats where the water spigot is, for one of the zones. The beds haven't been getting as much water as they usually need, and that soil has started to become hydrophobic. So that long sustained rain really softened up the soil, and I think it totally benefited the plants. So let's go take a look and see. And I am noticing too, I wanted to share with you, you see all this flattened grass? That is from a doe and her babies. She has 2. Most of the time they seem to have twins. This is where they sleep overnight. And a lot of times the does will leave the babies, usually in the shade though, in the daytime, in the grasses, tall grasses, so that they can go out and get food and stuff. But yeah, I've seen her here with her babies multiple times. And same thing at home. All of my daffodils in the front, I can show you next time we're over there, are completely flattened, and that's usually because a deer has been sleeping there at night. So it's kind of cute. Anyway, let's go check and see how everything is doing. So in the current row crop beds, the little feverfews are starting to grow, which is great. The strawflower are way less droopy, so they definitely have been needing water. The snapdragons are looking great. And even though this is not as big of a stand as I usually have, there are a lot of good stems here. So I'm happy about that. Just ignore the big pile of garbage. I need to deal with all this. We are going to be using that cardboard in opening some new beds, and then that wood as well. But for right now, that's where its home is. Still in this bed, we have a few feverfew that I planted. It looks like Only a couple of them made it. I don't think they were eaten. I think literally what happened was they just burned up because it got hot. Scabiosa coming along. I think this might be a formula mix. I know I labeled it, which would be multiple colors, but I'm not sure which ones. A little bit more status. These I sowed late in the season, and they thankfully have taken. So a little bit more straw flower too. So, and then here is the feverfew. It's looking beautiful. It just would have been amazing if this entire row that was feverfew was still here, but I'm very happy that I have any at all. And we can see some buds starting, so that's really good. Status, looking beautiful. This white status is ready for harvest tomorrow for bouquets, and some of that purple is as well. And look at all the Cynoglossum. So this is Forget-Me-Not. The Cynoglossum is the scientific name. That is Firmament. And some of them are kind of short still, but they're still really pretty and they are working. And then there's some Orlea that I transplanted that was still part of the wedding collection. I popped some in there. And then Clarkia, it's starting to flower. So I will be hopefully harvesting some of these stems tomorrow as well. Now the pollinator bed, look how much it's filling in. I'm so pleased with this. It is on irrigation, and of course it got an inch of rain yesterday or Saturday, but it's looking so pretty. I'm so happy to see all this. Now I do see here a pretty big hole. So as this is all filling in, this shows me where I need to pop some things. Because the more we have filled in, the less weeds we'll have in here, and it'll be so much easier to manage. But the verbena is blooming. We've got calendula just about to start. We've got some marigolds blooming, and that salvia back there. Look at that. And then, of course, the alyssum. So I do need to weed again, but that last hoe job that I did worked pretty well. So I am very pleasantly surprised that the Bio360 stayed on through that rainstorm with the high winds. I'm shocked. Very happy about that. So the job today, like I said, is to finish covering this bed, add it to the end of that bed, and transplant, and then we'll be done for today's jobs. And you can see these guys got plenty of rain over the weekend, and they're looking great. They're ready to go in the ground. In the Lisianthus bed, looking pretty good. I do see some weeds that I need to pull. These guys like to come up in here, and they definitely will crowd out the Lisianthus. So, and that's just a function of needing to hand weed through here. There's no other way to do it. But when you're using landscape fabric like this, which I normally don't, but in this property I've had to because of the heavy weed pressure, having to hand weed through here is a lot easier and faster than having to weed an entire uncovered bed. That takes way longer. So I'll just need to, today after I transplant, I'll come through and make sure. I've been trying to do this every day that I'm out here. Anytime I see weeds in these holes, just kind of grab them. And as long as I keep doing that, then the Lizzie will eventually fill in the space and there won't be any light allowing things to germinate. So Lisianthus is starting to put on some height. I'm just thrilled that it's all still here. I was so afraid that the gophers were going to take it all. Now I do see new gopher activity right here. You see that? So I need to grab my gopher probe and my trap, set it up. I don't know that I'll catch one, but I definitely want to try because I don't want them to start taking all of the Lizzie that's in this area here. And then over here, we've got agrostemma. We've got some grasses interspersed in here. More agrostemma, craspedia, sweet Annie. I wish you guys could smell this stuff. It's amazing. This is apple of Peru. I only have 2 plants. Last year I only had 1, but once they get going, they really just pump out the stems. Now look at this pretty little flower. It opens up, and it's not open for super long, but the entire stem gets really cool because even the pods of the flowers, see right here, are really cool in bouquets. So this ends up being a really fun type of stem to put in. Cosmos here, I need to come through and just deadhead so that it will give me longer stems. But they're doing okay. We've got some, I think this is, it's either Daucus or Amimagus, I'm not sure which one. This Cosmos, I think I just probably will pull. However, they will grow towards the sky, but I don't think those stems will ever be long enough to cut. Anyway, we do have some basil and stuff in here. Oh no, that's Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. It looks like that's the only one that took. But those plants get huge too, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. We've got more Craspedia, and then these are Eryngium, another Cosmos, and then this is where we have the basils and Celosia. They're trying. And then back there we have Tweedia. This is Tweedia here to about here where we have Orlea. And then that's all Black Knight Scabiosa. So I'm going to get started putting down. Well, first, actually, let's go back and check on everything else back here because I want to make sure everything's still in good shape. Dahlia bed. Now, nothing is, coming up yet. I didn't expect anything to be coming up yet. These tubers just went into the ground. Boy, the soil looks dry, even though I know it just got a bunch of rain and it has irrigation on it. But this bed is struggling. This is the sweet pea bed, and you can see down here a lot of them just got taken by probably gophers. However, I did place some traps and didn't catch anything, but it's okay. Sweet pea I plant because I enjoy it. I don't always harvest from them anyway because the stems are usually pretty short, so any harvestable stems I get is a bonus. I plan to use this bed. I did have other things planted here. It looks like that got nibbled off. I had some calendula in here, some other stuff. So I'm just going to come back. I have a bunch more plants at home and I'll fill this up. And I'm thinking, since this trellis is here, I'm going to pop in a couple of tomatoes because I still have plenty of tomato plants. But I am going to reset some gopher traps because you can see these holes here. And see if I can catch whoever's under there. But yeah, tomatoes, might as well use up the trellis space. But the sweet peas that have survived are looking really good. You, sir, need to find trellis. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they're looking good. They'll give us pretty flowers. And this is funny. I don't think I knew that I transplanted lamb's ear there. Oh well, that's a bonus. Okay, so sweet pea trellis, yeah, it's all right. This end obviously did much better because it hasn't been attacked by gophers, and there's calendula there. Now the sunflowers. So these two beds are empty still, except for down here there's a cardoon that I really need to pull out, and I'm gonna have to pull back the cover and dig it out. But zinnias are looking good. It's been cold. This storm got us down to it was 39 Fahrenheit this morning, and zinnias are not really a fan of that. And you can see some of them just kind of burned up in their holes. That's okay. I have plenty more zinnias that I can pop in, so it's all right. And most of them are still here, so I'm not too concerned. Sunflowers. We've got a big succession back here. Looks like there's been some damage. I gotta go check on that. And then this is Sunflower Steve. Sunflowers here in the front. Van Gogh's Fantasy Mix. These were direct sown. So these are the ones that were seedlings that I transplanted. And they have some twisted stems. That's the other problem of growing them in plug trays first, because then their stems just, I don't know, they struggle. See how they kind of falling over here? But that's all right. As soon as these are done, they get pulled out and I put more in. And you can see they're getting eaten by something, but I'm really not that worried. They're still green. I think it's probably slugs. I mean, look at this guy. I don't know if he's friend or foe, but they're mating right now. I'll have to look that one up. Like I said, these two beds empty, but they do have plans. The mums are arriving this week. And mums is what's going in these two beds. So I need to go in and get rid of those cardoons so that we can pop them in. And the rest of this bed is going to be zinnias as well, with another succession. Lilies, they are coming along, looking beautiful. So we have Golden Romance up front, Brunello, which are probably going to be the first ones to bloom here. Then we have, where's the stake for you guys? Lotus Queen, this is a black one, it's beautiful, and Stargazer. So these are all looking really good. And, you know, it's still going to be a couple of weeks, but I'm very pleased with this. The dahlia bed, it's doing okay. Some of these guys are really putting on some growth. Need to come in here and do a little bit of weeding, but for the most part, doing good. And the Bells of Ireland and Bupleurum bed, doing well. I'm so happy that I came back and re-sowed. These guys are doing great, and they're going to give us some nice flowers. So these are a flower that I should be sowing in the fall. And in the past, I haven't had any luck getting them to germinate and grow over the winter, but I think it's because I've been sowing them too late. And I think the sunlight hours affects that. So this year, I'm going to direct sow them towards the end of September instead of the first or second week of October. And maybe those 2 weeks, maybe a 2-week difference will help, because if they get established as small little plants, going into the winter, they'll just kind of stay dormant, but then I'll at least have a stand of plants. So that's going to be the goal this year. Hopefully I can stay on that schedule. Okay, so that's the status of everything. And now that we've just gotten a whole bunch more rain, I will be doing more string trimming because the ground that was pretty dried out, the grasses won't come back so much, but you know, all the little soap plants and all the other stuff, those definitely will bounce back. Well, that job's done. It took a while, but it's looking pretty good. Just noticed one left on the left on top of the row cover. So we've got the Bio 360 down, stapled into place, and we've got Bachelor Button the Bride up to that stake where we have Scabiosa Salmon Queen. Now I did cover that other bed, but that's going to be for zinnias. That's not going to be for the rest of this stuff. So we still have this tray here. This is Sinoglossum Mystery Rose. And I am going to put that in this bed here. But I'm not quite ready to open that bed yet because it's also going to get zinnias, and those seedlings aren't ready yet. So I don't know. I'm trying to debate. I might open half of it and put it in there, but I want to keep everything in here under silage as long as possible to kill off weeds. So tomorrow I'm going to come out and harvest and probably replace the hose up there and replace it with mainline tubing that it won't collapse suction wise down and then not allow much water through, because now that we're done with rain, because there's really nothing on the horizon, I think we're done probably until November, everything is going to need plenty of irrigation, and I want to make sure it gets that. So and then once I open these beds over here, there'll be additional strain on that irrigation, so I need to have a better tube set in place. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to do some major string trimming up there because the thistles and the grass are so high. It's just dangerous to walk through. And so we'll try to take care of some of that tomorrow and get that done. I don't think I can wait till this weekend. It's going to get really hot this week. So we're going to be close in the upper 80s Fahrenheit, which is close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Very hot. Now, a lot of these plants are going to love that. But it makes it harder to get that work done because it's hard on people. So, all right. So I am going to take off. That's going to be it for me today. See you guys tomorrow out here. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.